Our Adventure Guild is a brand new turn-based tactics game. I found this just by scrolling through Steam. There really wasn't anything crazy about it. Has overall great reviews. And again, looking through all these tactics games, I think I found a hidden gem here. So let's take a deep dive into this. And right off the bat, it gives you a ton of different options to go through. And I think one of the most impressive features is the difficulty settings, where you could really customize almost everything in the game how you want to play, going from easy, normal, medium, hard, any type of thing like that. And obviously I'm playing on normal, but you can do Iron Man, skipping the tutorial, obviously all those things. In terms of difficulty, being able to break down your own difficulty is really interesting. It's actually a lot of fun because it gives you endless replayability if you want to make the game extremely difficult, extremely easy. The accessibility is open for everyone. So I think that's a great thing that they have going for them. Right off the bat, the game starts off with some exposition. Basically, it's a letter and it's telling us what we are, who we are, what we do. Basically, just to sum it up, we're a guild master, and we are tasked with bringing back fame to a previous guild that our best friend, who is now passed away. The game throws us right into an adventure. So we have 3 young guild members and ourselves. We are an unnamed, unknown character. So this game is broken up into 2 portions. There's the adventure portion, and then there's the guild maintenance portion. Starting off in the adventure portion, it will be grid-based, almost like a board game. Each character is a piece. We're all a piece. Through the board, we can find resources, collect resources, rest at camp, very D&D-like, where after a certain amount of steps or after a certain amount of battles, you will have to rest. And during your resting period, you can task your members to do different things and come together to either buff themselves, buff other party members, heal, forage for other resources so it's easier to get supplies next time, and so on and so forth when you're resting. And after a rest, obviously, you can allocate how much supplies you want to use, and this will either give you a full heal, partial heal, half heal, anything along those lines, very D&D like, as I mentioned. Going from here, the tutorial is very straightforward. You'll be collecting resources, and then you're going to go into some battles. And now the battles, a very interesting aspect where it shifts you into a Final Fantasy Tactics like grid, where instead of it just being one piece, it's all of your pieces. It's your entire party, and you are battling different enemies. Every single unit has a different class, and there are a ton of different classes. I think it's a fair amount. I haven't seen the master classes even after like 4 or 5 hours of playing, just the advanced classes. Each of them has their own skill tree, skill set, which I think all expand upon each other, and it's really a unique way in breaking down how to tackle combat experiences. And they even throw in something from Darkest Dungeon, which is the bravery points. Now, bravery points are kind of like your sanity in Darkest Dungeon. The higher bravery you have, the better you will be in combat, and you will be able to use brave abilities. So these brave abilities sum up to, you can do like an extra action, you get a higher chance to hit, and so on and so forth. And even doing it, if you fail like a skill check, you can use like 10 bravery to roll again. But having high bravery also gives you a chance to resist death. If your character does happen to, fall in battle, get hit, reach 0, they can come back with a portion of their health and resist death. But if they have low bravery, they will die and they'll start suffering consequences of having this low bravery. And it is important to note to manage your team's bravery, since it does give you a big advantage over others in combat. The fact that this game is broken up into 2 different sections and then a combat section is really unique in that aspect. Going through the combat tutorial is pretty straightforward. You're just going to do the normal stuff that you would do in a tactics game. You go, reach the enemy, kill them. That's really it. There's no extra steps to it. Obviously, there's height advantage. There's different advantages. You could push enemies into other enemies, and obviously it does more damage. But there's also a combo system. Now, the combo system, starting off a little early, you don't really have a lot of times to combo. There's like a 5% chance to combo. But for the mage, they have like a rock spell, which basically knocks an enemy in any direction. And knocking an enemy in the direction of another ally will cause basically a chain combo to happen. So they'll knock the enemy into the ally. The ally will not take damage, but they'll do a counterattack basically. Can lead to a number of different combinations that you could do. Very much like Disgaea, or I always forget how to say it, but it's combinations like that. And I think, again, it leads to a lot of freedom in how to tackle these battles. You could also shield bash. You could also shield push enemies if you're a guardian class. Give you the freedom to do all these things. And just going through the skill trees, they are in depth. There is a lot of them. There was no way I was going to be able to do it in such a short amount of time. This game easily has 80 plus hours of gameplay to get through, and it really does seem endless. It's very much like, just go go and have fun. After the tutorial, it's like, yeah, you have story missions to do. They give you story missions, but go and have fun. And that's something that I absolutely adore in this game. They give you endless amounts of freedom. You have so many different quests to tackle every single day. You can send out your guild members to do assignments at will. Let them do whatever they want to do. And you know what? That's what makes this game great. And it is very reminiscent of Final Fantasy Tactics. I think it really scratches that itch for me. Granted, the writing isn't that amazing. Again, it feels like an isekai, and I don't have an issue with that. I do know some people have an issue with the writing. It is very teen-like, very corny. Again, there's still a sense of charm to it that I do enjoy. It doesn't really take itself seriously, and the game knows that. And I think that's something to know when you're playing this game and picking it up. Like, this game is not going to be serious. You need to just sit back and have fun. Don't turn off your brain, because it's still a tactics game. Like, the game is still hard. I've lost a few battles where I had to like reload and everything, but the game is hard. It has permadeath. When your guys die, they die for good. They're not coming back. They are staying there. There's a memorial, just like in Darkest Dungeon. There's a memorial for all the dead soldiers that you lose in combat. Thankfully, I haven't lost any major ones, but that's not to say that the game is tough, especially some of like the more raid and wave heavy gameplay. It is difficult. There are traps along the map, and that's something I want to talk about right now. We're going to get into the map system. When you're going into and selecting these missions, each mission will have a different objective. Some will be explore 75% of the area. Another will be kill 3 enemies or do 3 battles in this area. And every map will have different events that take place, or even like find resources. Now, the events that take place on these maps do feel very unique. There was one of the first events I actually went through. There was a feud between bandits, and you can intervene at any point. But if you chose to continue to listen to them, you could see that they're actually star-crossed lovers who want to go escape and not be bandits anymore. And the more you listen, the more you uncovered their love and their lore. And it honestly felt incredible. And I got so much experience just for listening, and I thought that was hysterical, the way they just broke it down, and then they just left. And then there are other times where there'll be a group of individuals who are like other fighters, basically, who are fighting off lizard people, and they're not doing great. Other adventurers they're going down. They're getting their ass kicked. You step in, also get your ass kicked, but you just managed to survive. Let me tell you, that lizard event, the lizard man event, if you've played and you've done the lizard man event, you will know that those lizards kick your ass. They are nothing to mess around with. But that's just to name 2 of them. Not all of them lead to fights. Some I had where one of my mages got permanently debuffed. They have a permanent chance now to fail at doing anything because they climbed a statue to get the rubies out. Granted, I have rubies now. I have 2 rubies, but overall it led to them, their greed led to them falling short. And that is something that I want to pivot into in the sense of choice. There is a lot of choice in this game that I've noticed that we have as players. After you complete a section within the map itself, within that combat map, that board, you have the option to stay or go back to the guild. Now, what I notice is being able to stay, having that freedom to stay, opens up a lot more doors in just exploration. Granted, the maps aren't massive, but it still opens up a lot of room to explore these different areas, find different items, fight different enemies, and really just push yourself to that limit and get more XP and more items. But I will say, the combat XP that you get isn't that incredible. It's not a lot, but the combat XP you get from overall missions is massive. You can look at leveling up almost after every single time, switching on and off between who's like the main, who's staying on. Usually I stuck with a core group, and I would alternate between basically like a rogue or another warrior, anything along those lines. But I did stick with the main group, even though we didn't always get like the most XP. We really stuck together because that builds another thing that's in the game, a friendship. So the more of your core group fights together, the better they get together. And I didn't realize this until recently, but they do really well. They get more synergy. They basically will combo off each other more. For example, if I hit someone, my archer will just shoot at him. Like, there's a higher chance of him comboing off him, and then my mage will combo off that. And it's a really interesting dynamic how the more you play with them, the stronger they get. There's even some negative side effects to this, where your characters can have awkward conversations with other characters in your guild, and that will make them have a bad expression. So you don't want to pair those people up together. Rather, you want to pair everyone up who can basically pair up with each other and not have a negative experience, just so you have a better experience. And so from there, I think we could go right into each of the different buildings that the game has. Starting off, the training camp. The training camp is where you can advance your class to, the advanced class and learn all of your skills. Obviously, learning skills, you need levels. And then from levels, you get skill points. Very self-explanatory. From there, let's go to the blacksmith. The blacksmith, burly fellow, he crafts all the equipment. Really straightforward, really simple. You get the crafting equipment from Exploration, and then that's it. You go back to him, build it. The merchant, probably one of my favorite characters. Unknown name, no name, who knows? Merchant, Mercan, I think his name was, I believe. You know what? And that's what he does. He just sells you shit. Doesn't matter. He's like, like, yeah, just buy it, okay? Because there's no other merchant that wants you because you have such a low reputation now. So he sells you everything. And then we go to the chapel, where obviously you'll be getting healed. At the chapel, there's a character there who looks like Hatsune Miku, and I think it is absolutely hysterical, but great character, very interesting story, which I will hold off on. From there, we have the tavern. The tavern is the first area you really get into, because that's, you're going to spend a decent amount of time there recruiting other members, and basically, if there's low morale, you have them drink. Low morale sucks. Following this, after a little bit of time, you will unlock a character who opens the alchemy section. Alchemy is very, very important in this game. Potions have been a godsend for me. Mana potions, health potions, permanent strength potions, all these things are very, very important to just keeping yourself alive overall. I've noticed that sometimes I use potions consistently, absolutely consistently, especially in, again, a raid or a big boss fight, elite enemy fight. You will be using potions a lot if you want to keep those precious characters alive. And that's really the nitty gritty of it. And then obviously there's this massive upgrade tree for your guild itself. And you start off with basically an unknown, and then every single ranking, you get more known. The more things you do, the better you get at things. And that unlocks more trees, more upgrades for your facilities, more upgrades for your overall guild, which means more people will be coming to your guild, which means you'll get better and higher quality resources, higher quality recruitments, all leading over to an overall better experience. And with that being said, that's really it that the game has. Now, it doesn't sound like a lot because it's not a lot, but the depth of it is a lot. So everything there, it's very straightforward, very simple. They're not rewriting the wheel. They're not, remaking anything. They're just doing the formula very well. And I think this game deserves way more praise than it's getting. It deserves way more Steam sales, whatever sales it is. This game needs to be up on the charts for tactics game. This game right now is in my tactics game of the year. Easily. This game easily is one of the best tactics games I've played in a long time. In a very long time. Just single player experience, straightforward. The game runs well. It feels good. The animations are smooth. Everything works out. The music is good as well. Everything is good. The artwork, incredible. It brings me back to the Flash game period, and I love that. I love the Adventure Quest aesthetic. I love everything about it. It just feels like I'm playing Adventure Quest Tactics, and I don't see anything wrong with that. Maybe my nostalgia is talking too much, but it feels incredible. What I would want, maybe it's in the game, maybe it's not, I want necromancy and pets. That's all I want. That is my one request to the dev. Dev, if you ever watch this, please, necromancy, I will give you more money. Necromancy and pets, that's all I want. If you can have the ranger get like a pet, or the mage go into necromancy, please and thank you. That would be incredible. I want an army of skeletons. Other than that, that's really it. That's my first impressions. I only spent like 4 or 5 hours playing the game, and I'm honestly hooked. I love this game, and again, the devs deserve the best. If you guys enjoyed this, like and subscribe, leave a comment, leave some feedback. Go support these devs. I think this is a solo dev. Go support him or her. Go support them. This game wasn't expensive either. Go just get out there and whatever they want, give it to them. They deserve the high praise, and I really hope that this game gets more recognition. I hope we can do something, get this game out there to some outlets, some higher content creators with a bigger following, just so they can support these devs or dev. With that being said, I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.